I'm Deepak Chopra, and you're watching One World with Deepak Chopra. And we are bringing this program to you from Deepak home base in New York City. And this is my world headquarters for everything media-wise. We have a healing center in California, of course, as well. So welcome to the show. And my special guest today is Chris Burch. Chris Burch is known as one of the most creative investors in the world. So we'll talk about that, but we'll talk about many other things so you actually get to know him. Chris, thanks for joining us today.
Love being here.
So why are you known as this amazing creative investor?
Well, I've been real lucky in that I've met incredible people and I've been able to invest in them. Mm-hmm. And it's instinctual, and I think it comes from my childhood. Mm-hmm. And it's actually like being invested in creative people is not actually about money. It's about the human being.
So tell me a little bit about your childhood. You said it comes from your childhood.
Yeah. So I grew up outside of Philadelphia, kind of a upper class family. One of the most challenged young men ever. I was had terrible learning disabilities and ADD, HDD, every DDD that you can possibly have, a massive bedwetter, and a guy that would have tremendous panic and anxiety as a little boy. My brother was much brighter than me, and perceptionally so, and my other family members, but I had a lot of love from my mom and dad, but nobody back then actually knew what was wrong. So every day that I would go to school, I wouldn't be able to focus or concentrate. No one knew kind of what was wrong.
I'm trying to figure out the connection between that and your creative investing, but go on.
I would then end up at night going into a closet with a telephone, and I would call talk radio. And I would talk to Barry in Philadelphia, WWDB, and I would listen to the voices of Philadelphia. So when most children were at home listening to Dreams every single night from about 11 o'clock till 3 in the morning, I would listen to different voices. And those voices would be people, from the woman smoking to the guy that loved sports to a guy that talked about Stewarts. And that allowed, in a very important part of my brain, to actually understand humanity and understand vulnerability and to understand why people tick. That ability to listen outside of myself is the only reason that I've been able to creatively invest in great people or ideas, because I'm so curious. It's genetic, amazing. It's so emotional.
It was your, not only was it an escape, it was a refuge for you, a connection to the bigger world, and it was therapy at the same time.
Yes, and it was the only way in which I actually could feel good about myself. I actually would crawl into the closet to feel safe. And I didn't know what was going on. No one knew what was going on, but that was my refuge.
You know, these days there's a lot of talk about the power of vulnerability, because when you're not afraid of being vulnerable, you open yourself up to the larger zeitgeist, so to speak, and it imbues you with the collective consciousness in a way.
Yeah.
So tell me, what was your first big investment, or what was your first?
So I, in prep school, I went to the prep school in New England. I did a little businesses, but in college
So you got to prep school with all those disabilities? Huh?
Very unlikely. I went to the worst prep school in America, and actually just fortunately was able to give back a little bit of that prep school, and I was a decent athlete, so I stayed in. And then it was a small prep school in New England, kind of helped to save me, Tilton School. And then I went on to Ithaca College, where I started my first business, which was selling sweaters door to door on college campuses.